Starting and growing a successful YouTube channel can feel just overwhelming, and it can feel like the odds are stacked against you. But the good news, there are proven strategies that can help you grow your channel, and they can also get you to the point where, your channel is finally making money. So in this video, I'm going to give you some of my best tips and insights from the last 12 months or so. I'll cover topics like what to aim for instead of the YouTube homepage, what kinds of videos will just stop your growth in its tracks, and why you shouldn't copy what the established YouTube channels are doing. In other words, a complete guide to starting and growing your YouTube channel. So first up, how to start. If you're trying to start or grow a channel on YouTube, you've probably heard the same advice over and over. Focus on getting your videos on YouTube's homepage and in the suggested video section. But here's the thing. Getting views through search is seriously underappreciated. So today I'm going to show you how you can use search-based strategies to grow your channel and eventually start making money. And I'm not talking about one of those faceless, mass-produced, weird AI channels you see all over the place. This is about you, the creator, speaking directly to your audience and building a sustainable channel. So why should you focus on a search-based strategy? Well, it all comes down to watch time. Unlike viral content, which often, just spikes and then fades away, search-based content can build watch time over the long term. When you rank highly for a popular search term, your video doesn't just get a lot of views in the first week and then disappear. Instead, it continues to draw in viewers who are searching for that topic, sometimes for years. Now, getting your video to rank on the first page of YouTube for those popular search terms, that's key, right? If your video is one of the first things people see when they search for a topic, you're going to get a consistent stream of viewers. But here's where it gets really good. Those views aren't just quick clicks. They're often from people who are deeply interested in the topic, which means they're more likely to watch your video all the way through. And more watch time means YouTube will continue to push your video higher and higher and higher in the search rankings, which creates a positive feedback loop. And that brings us to one of the biggest benefits of a search-based strategy: evergreen content. For example, how-to videos and problem-solving content. These are things that stay relevant over time, and they're just gold mines. These types of videos can keep bringing in views long after you've pushed that publish button. But I got a warning for you. If you're making how-tos on specific products, be really careful. Products that update frequently can make your video obsolete way faster than you'd like. Now, you can still do that, but if you're covering a topic like that, keep your production lean so you don't spend, too much time on a video with a limited shelf life. A search-based strategy works really well with topic-focused content like tutorials or reviews or explainer videos. And if you're making videos about how to use software or reviewing the latest tech gadget, search-based content is perfect. But if your channel is more personality-driven, such as, vlogs or comedy, search isn't going to be useful. People searching for solutions aren't looking for a new channel to subscribe to. They just want their problem solved. Now, before you even hit record, you need to do some research. And no, I don't mean just brainstorming ideas. I'm talking about using YouTube's tools to see what people are actually searching for. Those autocomplete suggestions you see when you start typing in the search bar? Really valuable. Not only do they give you ideas for topics, but they're also potential video titles that people are already looking for. You should also be using YouTube Studio's Inspiration tab, formerly called the Research tab, and this lets you dig deeper into popular search terms. This tool can show you what your viewers are searching for and where there might be content gaps. In other words, topics that are popular with viewers but not being covered well by creators. And if you're juggling a few different ideas and you can't decide which one to go with, hop over to Google Trends. It's a great way to compare search volume for different topics and see which one has more traction. All right, let me share with you a little personal data, a little personal insights about how well this strategy can work. In the last month, 42% of the views for my top 10 performing videos came from YouTube search. Another 20% of those views came from an external source, mostly Google. So that's over 60% of my views coming from search. And it's not just about views. The watch time follows a similar pattern, with 39% coming from YouTube search and 17% from Google. This tells me that search-based content isn't just driving clicks, it's keeping viewers engaged, which is exactly what you want for long-term growth. All right, now that you've got the basic idea about starting a search-based YouTube channel, let's take it a step further. So coming up, I'm going to show you how you can optimize your channel for growth and even start turning those views into steady income. So let's go make some money.
Are you struggling to build your search-based YouTube channel? Well, I've got good news. In this video, I'm going to give you some really practical growth strategies you could use right now. And I'm also going to analyze a YouTube channel that is just crushing it in search and show you why it's working. Also, since, you're in this for the long haul, I've got some strategies for long-term channel growth, not just quick fixes. Now, I want to be clear. While some of these ideas might work for a faceless, automated channel like an AI channel or something, that is not what I'm going for here. There's way too much spam out there and way too many shady courses promising to make you rich overnight with, a faceless YouTube channel. This is all about helping traditional creators like you who are building something real and sustainable. All right, let's start with optimizing your videos for search. One of the most important things you can do is create titles that match popular search queries exactly. Think about it. When someone is searching for a specific topic, they're typing in keywords that they hope will get them where they need to go. Your job is to make sure your video title matches perfectly with what they're searching for. Don't get too creative with your titles. Clarity is key. The simpler and more direct, the better. For example, let's say my specialty is creating cooking tutorials and I'm feeling like making something about, ramen. When I type in how to make ramen noodles, you'll notice 2 of the top videos have that exact phrase as part of their title. Another thing search-based YouTube channels often overlook is the use of chapters in your video. Now, chapters, of course, make it easier for viewers to navigate your content, but they also make your video more likely to get discovered. If your video covers multiple aspects of a topic, breaking it down into chapters and make sure they're named very descriptively, it can give you more opportunities to get found in search. It's a little thing, but it can really pay off. When you use chapters, you're also making it easier for external sources like Google search, for example, to find your video. Some of my videos rely heavily on search traffic from Google as well as YouTube search. Now let's talk about long-term growth strategies. There are 2 main approaches you can take. The first strategy is to focus on volume instead of subscribers. The idea is to streamline your production process so you can create lots of short, efficient videos. And when you focus on lots of videos, you're casting a wider net. Each video is another opportunity to be found in search, and while you may not be building a huge subscriber base quickly, you're building consistent viewership, which can lead to steady growth over time. The second strategy uses search as more of a gateway to more in-depth content on your channel. This approach is about leading viewers from a general search query to more specialized, valuable content that you've made. You start with a video that solves a common problem, and then guide the viewer to related videos that dive deeper into the topic. This is a great way to encourage viewers to spend more time on your channel and explore your other content. It's more strategic and it can lead to higher subscriber numbers, but it also requires more planning. An example of this is, this video, plus a companion video I made for those just starting out building a search-based channel. The beginner video leads into this more advanced video, creating a clear path for viewers to keep watching my channel. If you're wondering which strategy is best, well, the answer might be both. Experimenting with both approaches can help you figure out what works best for your channel. Some videos might perform better when you focus on volume and efficiency, while others might do well as part of a more in-depth series. All right, in a moment, I'm going to show you a search-based YouTube channel that it just fascinates me. The guy really has it dialed in, and there's a lot you can learn from it. But before we do that, we should talk about subscribers, or more specifically, subscribing to my channel. If you'd like to see more content like this, then click that subscribe button. Thanks. Okay, so let me show you Kevin Stratvert's channel. In 8 years, he's produced over 800 videos. Yeah, do the math there, and has over 3 million subscribers. But here's the thing. I suspect Kevin isn't focused solely on gaining subscribers. His real focus seems to be on views and watch time, and of course, showing up in search. He's able to put out so many videos because he saves time on production. His thumbnails, for example, they use the same layout each time, and he even uses the same face shots over and over, which means he doesn't have to do a photo session every time he does a thumbnail. And his video production quality, it's good, but it's really simple. There's no flashy editing, just a host talking to camera and B-roll over the top. But did you notice the titles of his videos? Many of them sound exactly like what you'd type into the search bar. There's no drama in his titles, no hooks or intrigue. you know exactly what you're getting, which is important if you're searching for something specific. So what are some other ways you can be more efficient and make more videos? Well, if you're already making a steady income from your channel, one of the first things you should consider outsourcing is editing, especially if you keep your editing needs simple like Kevin does. I personally enjoy editing videos, but I struggle with keeping it lean. I'm always adding as many bells and whistles and special effects and things as I can, which is a real drain on productivity. So when I finally manage to put my ego aside, editing will be the first thing I hand off to someone else. And then I'll probably be an annoying backseat driver. But even if you're not ready to outsource yet, there are ways to streamline your production. Batch creating content is a great place to start. Heck, it's a game changer. For example, there are certain times of the day when I'm at my best for script writing, and it's usually in the morning. So I'll put together several scripts at once. And same thing with shooting B-roll. If I have to set up my equipment for like a product B-roll shoot, for example, it makes sense to get several products shot at once while I've got everything set up for that. Or if I'm just sitting at my computer, like getting screen grabs, for example, even then batching for multiple videos is more efficient. You can't batch your production though if you don't already have your next videos planned out. So rather than coming up with one idea at a time and then making that video from start to finish, come up with 5 ideas, 10 ideas, or even more, and then batching can really get serious.
So we've talked about how to grow and monetize your channel, but there's one major pitfall you need to avoid, and that's focusing too heavily on product reviews. So in this next segment, I'm going to explain why this can actually hurt your growth and what you can do instead.
Do you make product reviews for your YouTube channel? Well, you know what? Those videos might actually be killing your channel growth. Even if you're getting lots of views and watch time, you're probably not getting the new subscribers you deserve. And that's a big problem. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how it's killing your channel. But good news, I'm also gonna show you some changes you can make that will get your channel growing again. And you won't have to necessarily give up doing reviews. And this issue is a pretty personal one for me. When I first started this channel, I wanted to help content creators like you to get better at making content. You know, how-tos on using equipment, growing your channel, that sort of thing. But I sort of drifted away from that, and most of the videos I've made lately are product reviews. But I've started to notice something strange. My videos are getting views, sure, but subscribers, not so much. And that got me thinking, what if the very thing I'm doing to grow my channel is actually keeping it from reaching its full potential? Let's start with the most obvious issue. Where have all the subscribers gone? Well, let's think about that. Product reviews attract viewers who are looking for specific information. On my channel, they show up because they're searching for a review on a particular microphone or lens, that sort of thing. But once they get the answers they need, they're out. It's like they've gotten their quick fix and now they're moving on with their lives. They're not there to binge watch microphone reviews, for example. This means fewer subscribers and slower growth. Sure, product reviews often perform well in search, which is great for getting views, but there's a catch. Viewers who arrive from searching are less likely to subscribe. Like I said before, they get what they need and then they're gone. On the other hand, if your videos are getting picked up by YouTube's recommendation algorithm, those viewers are more likely to become regulars. They're more likely to watch multiple videos from you and will eventually subscribe. But why is subscribing important anyway? Well, first off, it's a signal to YouTube that the viewer wants to see more of these videos. And also, YouTube will often test out your new releases on subscribers first to see what sort of interest there is. The more subs you have, the faster YouTube can find an audience for a video. With search, it takes much longer. Another issue is niche fatigue. And yes, I just made that phrase up, but you'll see what I mean. Now, you've probably heard lots of YouTube experts saying you need to niche down, right? And find very specific set of topics and focus on that to build a dedicated following. And this is generally good advice, but if your niche has short-term interest, this can backfire. Here's what I mean. I have a lot of microphone reviews on my channel. When someone is shopping for a mic, my channel is a great place to visit. However, their interest in microphones is probably short-term. They do their research on the mics, maybe they watch some tutorials on how to use it, but then they're not interested in watching videos about microphones anymore. They're tired of your niche. Here's another challenge, the longevity of your content. Product reviews can become outdated pretty fast. As soon as a new model comes out, your review on last year's model is pretty useless. So depending on what kinds of products you're reviewing, your video may have a very short shelf life. There's also the issue of personal connection. When you focus heavily on products, it's easy to lose sight of what really builds a loyal audience. You. Viewers subscribe to channels not just for the information, but for the person delivering it. If your content is all about the gear and not enough about your experiences and your journey and your personality, you're just not going to make that connection. You might give the viewers what they came for, but you didn't give them a reason to come back. Now, there are lots of ways you can make changes without giving up doing reviews. I'm going to share those with you in a moment. But after all that, if you're dead set on being a review-only channel, I do have a suggestion for that at the end. Before we talk about how to fix your channel, you may have noticed that there is not a single product I'm reviewing in this video. Instead, I'm hoping this video is going to provide long-term value to, viewers like you, and that you'll come back for more. So if you think that's a great idea, please subscribe. Thanks. So what can you do about this? Well, first of all, you can diversify your videos. Balance your product reviews with other types of videos that encourage people to keep coming back. Think about, creating tutorials, discussing industry trends, making, some vlogs, that sort of thing. By offering more than just reviews, you give your viewers a reason to stick around even after they've made their purchase decision. And focus on creating evergreen content, videos that are still useful and interesting 3 or 4 years from now. Non-review videos tend to have a longer lifespan, just, by their very nature. And even when you make a product review, be selective. Maybe don't focus on products that get updated every few months. Focus on more durable products. And if you review complicated products, you could also create how-to videos on these products. Yes, a how-to video will still be tied to the lifespan of the product, but you can get more bang for your buck with a review plus a how-to. I planned this in advance for a few products, and it was a hit each time. One was a complicated audio mixer, and I released a how-to before the main review. Then, at the end of the review video, I pointed people to the how-to video, which was already out. Both of these videos did really well. Another thing you can try is to shift the focus away from products and more towards solving problems. Instead of just reviewing a microphone, for example, you could create a video on how to improve audio quality in different environments or something like that. And you could still recommend products as part of the solution, but the main focus is on helping your viewers solve a problem. These types of videos can pull in search traffic, but also be useful to a wider audience, and hopefully have YouTube recommend them. And don't forget to include you in your videos, your personality, your expertise. Share more of your personal insights, your creative journey, your challenges. Viewers are more likely to subscribe if they feel that connection to you, not just, can you have a connection to a product? So by being authentic and showing who you are, you're going to build a stronger relationship with them, which can lead to higher engagement and more loyal subscribers. Okay, as promised, what if you're a diehard reviewer and you don't want to follow any of my suggestions? Well, you can still make money as a review channel if you approach it the right way. In the end, views are what pay the bills. So if you're determined to rely solely on search traffic, you need to do 2 things. 1, you need to be selective. Only review products that viewers are likely to search for. Don't review a lame or unknown product just because some company sent it to you. And 2, you need to swarm the internet. And by that, I mean you need to put out a huge number of reviews in a short time. Since you won't have very many viewers coming back for you, you're having to work harder to win those clicks. So you need to find ways to make quality videos that don't take a lot of time to produce.
There's another challenge small creators face, and that is getting more watch time. For smaller channels, the rules are completely different. So in this next video, I'm going to share strategies designed specifically to help you keep viewers engaged and coming back for more.
You know what? It's just not fair. When it comes to getting more watch time, the rules are different for small YouTube channels. There's a lot of advice on the internet about how to get more watch time for your channel. Unfortunately, most of that advice is aimed at bigger channels. If you haven't monetized yet, the rules are absolutely different. So in this video, I'm going to explain why the rules are different for you, someone who has a small channel. And I'm also going to show you steps you can take to maximize your watch time and get to that magic 4,000 hours. And there's also one tip that's pretty huge, but is also pretty controversial. And I expect to get some flack for it in the comments. But first, we've got to talk about, why does YouTube care about watch time so much? Why not views or comments, for example? Well, The YouTube's algorithm loves channels that keep viewers watching for longer. The longer a viewer watches, the more they can show ads and make more money. And YouTube wants to know that you've got what it takes, that you know how to keep people watching on your channel. Now, you might have heard that making longer videos is the way to go if you want to increase watch time. And sure, that works if you've already got an audience hooked on your content. But for small channels, it's not that simple. Creating long videos that people actually want to watch all the way through is hard, especially when you're just starting out. And if too many viewers are dropping out before the end of your video, that's a problem. If you don't have that engagement dialed in, some of these other tips won't help very much at all. So what's the biggest thing you can do as a new channel to bump up your watch time? Well, start with shorter but more engaging videos. These are easier to produce and viewers are more likely to watch them from start to finish. And also, shorter videos are also less intimidating for new viewers who, might not know you yet. You want to make it as easy as possible for people to click on your video and stay with it to the end. Plus, when your video is short and punchy, it's much easier to keep the energy up and the content tight. Tight. I'm rethinking that word choice now. If you're a new YouTuber, you haven't perfected the skills of keeping your viewers entertained yet. If you had, you wouldn't be complaining about your subscribers and watch time. That's okay. You're gonna figure it out. But in the meantime, longer videos will work against you because viewers will exit them early, and that exit is a bad signal to YouTube. Now, let's talk about end screens. And an end screen is where YouTube recommends a video or a playlist to the viewer to watch next once your video's done. And you get to pick what goes there, which is pretty cool. Now, assuming you're actually getting your viewers to the end of your video, these can be really powerful to get more watch time. But here's the key. Don't just slap an end screen on and hope for the best. You need to actively guide your viewers to click on it in the video you're making. That means as you're wrapping up your video, make a point of talking about the end screen content and physically point to it. I often point up there. And you want to make it crystal clear that the next video or even a playlist is where they should head next. Here's an example from a previous video I made. So if your goal is to monetize your channel and have it explode like Roey's is going to do, then you absolutely need to watch this next video called How to Monetize Your YouTube Channel in 2024. So click right here. I mentioned playlists as a potential end screen, and this is another crucial strategy. Playlists can keep your viewers on your channel for a lot longer by stringing together related videos, but you gotta keep the viewer in mind. Don't make a playlist that's just filled with random videos from your channel. They should be on the same topic as the video they just watched. Also, keep your playlist short and sweet. A playlist with 3 to 7 videos is ideal. Engaging with your viewers in the comment section is another key to boosting watch time. And it seems like a little thing, but it's not. You're new and viewers don't know you, but when you chat with them, you make them feel seen and they get to know your personality at least a little bit. So when viewers feel like they're part of a community, they're more likely to stick around and watch more of your content. Now, this next tip might be a bit controversial. You should optimize for search. There, I said it, I know. And that really goes against the grain because most YouTube experts say not to optimize for search if you want to grow fast. But here's the thing. When you're a small channel, search can be your best friend. While it's true that trending and suggested videos can bring in massive traffic, search optimization gives your videos a longer lifespan. Now, I'm not talking about ridiculous Google SEO from the past and, stuffing your videos with keywords or anything like that. I'm suggesting that you pinpoint popular search topics and make videos based on that. If you target searchable topics, you can keep getting views for months, even years after you post. This is especially important when you're trying to reach that 4,000 hour watch time. So yes, while optimizing for search might not be the fastest route to explosive growth, it's a reliable way to build steady long-term watch time. So how do you actually do this? Well, one easy way is just to go to the YouTube search bar and see what autofill will give you. Try, typing your channel's niche and the word tutorial, or play around with a couple of keywords in your niche and see what shows up. That should get the ideas going because remember, these are search terms people are actually using. That's why they're showing up in the auto suggestion or autofill. And if you make videos on that topic and name them something like that search term, you're gonna see results. Then actually do the search, see what videos come up, and then steal these ideas. It's okay, make the video in your own style and it won't matter if you got the idea from someone else. These videos that show up when you do a search are probably pretty popular, which means they did something right. And this is really critical. By optimizing for search early on, you can short circuit the need for landing on YouTube's homepage. I mean, you still have to make awesome videos or you won't show up in the first few pages of search, but it's an easier path for small channels to get that watch time.
Growing your channel takes time and energy, and if you're balancing other commitments like a job or family, it can be even harder. So next I'll share how I managed to juggle YouTube, work, and life without burning out, and how you can too.
You know, balancing a YouTube channel, a full-time job, and a family isn't just difficult. It is a constant juggling act. And I'm a part-time YouTuber, a middle school teacher, and a husband and a father. And every day is a flippin' battle to keep all these plates spinning in the air without letting one crash to the ground. So today I'm gonna share how I manage this balance, or at least, try to, and some strategies I found that help keep me sane. Okay, so first, let's talk about why I even bother with a YouTube channel. Now, I've always been a creative person, or at least borderline artistic, but before this, I worked in the music industry and then as a professional photographer. So YouTube, allows me to have a creative outlet, but there's another reason as well. And my day job as a middle school teacher, it's rewarding, sure, but it's also incredibly draining. Some days I come home feeling completely burnt out, mentally, physically, and YouTube for me isn't just a hobby, it's a potential way out, a way to transition to something that feeds my soul and hopefully my bank account too. But here's the problem. I'm impatient. My wife is always reminding me to just chill out and be patient, but growing on YouTube is so slow, at least for me. And it's not just frustrating, it can be downright depressing. And yeah, I know it sounds a little pathetic to let your emotions be controlled by an algorithm. It's really unhealthy, but when you're pouring so much of yourself into something and it feels like it's going nowhere, it takes a toll. So how do I keep things going? Well, I have found that I'm at my happiest when I can get into a flow state. When I'm working in that zone, working on a video, time just disappears and so does the frustration. It's almost like therapy. And when I'm working on multiple videos at once, each in different stages of production, I feel more in control and less like I'm falling behind. But on the flip side, if I don't have anything in the pipeline and my latest video isn't doing well, let's just say it's not a good feeling. Here's a little trick I learned the hard way. This past summer, I got hit with a really bad case of COVID. I mean, it was 6 weeks of being utterly useless. And at first it drove me crazy because I have summers off as a teacher and I had big plans to just crush it. But I had to really let go of my expectations. And I learned that sometimes things just aren't going to happen on the timeline I made for myself. And that's okay. So yes, this new perspective was forced on me by being laid up for so long, but I do find it a little easier to cut myself some slack when I don't keep to the plan. Another big part of maintaining this balance is communicating with my family. My wife and I, we're just very frank with each other. When I'm feeling down or stressed, I tell her, and that's important, and she's usually great at just helping me put things in perspective. My younger son, who's still at home, at least for the time being, is also really understanding. He'll be the first one to just give me a huge hug if it looks like I'm struggling. And he often, if you've watched my channel, he helps with my video projects. So that's a big win-win for all of us. But I'm not just taking from my family, I'm giving too. I'm in charge of all the cooking, for example. So we're spending time together almost every evening at the dinner table. And we've got a routine where we schedule time to watch TV together or go out to dinner. So it's not just about being physically present, but emotionally present too. And I know that sounds corny or even worse, easy to dismiss, but it's really at the core of keeping yourself on track and keeping yourself centered. Of course, managing my energy, my personal energy is crucial because teaching middle school is exhausting and I often come home completely wiped out. But I found that, taking a short nap right after work helps reset my energy levels. And it's not a big nap, it's just like 20 or 30 minutes, but it will give me the energy to go film something in the studio or work on an edit. Also, I've learned not to push myself too hard at night. Staying up late to finish an edit, it might seem like a good idea at the time, but it almost always backfires. I end up more tired and then the next day I'm just less productive overall. Exercise is another key factor. Now, I'm still building my stamina back up after COVID, but even going on a short walk or some light exercise, it just clears my head and keeps my energy levels up. In fact, I went on a bike ride for the first time in about 2 months today with my older son and my wife, and it was so great to be back outside. So, and now I've got all this energy and I'm ready to go. So it's easy to let this kind of stuff slide when things get busy, but I've learned the hard way that neglecting exercise just makes everything else harder. And the weird part about exercise is that as a teacher, I am easily getting in 10,000 steps a day, but that is not the same thing as getting your heart rate up. That really helps with energy and mood. So riding my bike, like I mentioned, or going for a hike, it almost always makes me feel better. And I'm always looking for ways to be more efficient with my video production. For example, over the past year, I've gotten way better at batching production tasks. And what I mean is, I'll write scripts for multiple videos at one time, and I'll spend a day shooting B-roll for several videos at once. And this is a huge efficiency hack, and it also helps me stay in that flow state. So I'm constantly thinking about my whole production process and cutting out unnecessary steps and streamlining the process wherever I can. So what's the takeaway here? I haven't found the perfect balance yet, but I'm getting closer. It's about finding ways to, make the most of the time and the energy you have, and being okay with the fact that some days that's going to look different than others. It's also about being patient with yourself and recognizing that progress, even slow progress, is still progress. It's not just about growing a YouTube channel. It's about making sure that while you're doing it, you don't lose sight of what really matters: your family, your health, and your sanity. And if you can keep those things in balance, then no matter how fast or slow your channel grows, you're already winning.
Hitting that first big milestone of 1,000 subscribers is just as important as getting the watch time. So to wrap things up, I'm going to walk you through the 5 strategies that help me reach this goal and can help you do the same.
Hey, it's Matt Haynes, and I'm going to tell you how you can finally reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And if you're struggling to get your channel off the ground, you are not alone. So today I'm going to share with you 5 key strategies that can help you reach that first big milestone. And I remember what a hard slog it felt like to get there. Believe me, I feel your pain. So stick with me on this, and by the end of this video, you'll have a clear plan to grow your channel. So here's the first step: choosing a niche that not only interests you, but also has real potential for growth. It's not just about picking something you're passionate about. You've probably heard people say that. You need to think about whether there's an audience for it, and more importantly, if that audience is big enough to help you reach your goals. But there's one more thing to consider as you're planning the start of your channel. Is there room in your niche for another voice, for your voice? Or is it oversaturated with creators all covering the same ground? You don't want to be just another channel doing what everyone else is doing. So you've got to look for gaps in the content that's already been released. Maybe there's a unique angle or sub-niche that you can focus on that hasn't been fully explored yet. For instance, if you're passionate about fitness, instead of covering general workouts, you could focus on something more specific, like fitness for busy professionals or home workouts with minimal equipment. It's like a 3-way Venn diagram. Here's all of the things you're passionate about, and this is all the topics and niches on YouTube that are just, bangers, and these are all the untapped areas that channels aren't serving. That intersection in the middle is where your channel will blow up. I know, putting all those pieces together, that can feel pretty intimidating. You probably know what you're passionate about, otherwise you wouldn't be considering a YouTube channel. But how do you know the audience is big enough? Well, one way is to simply search for some topics in your niche on YouTube. If there are a lot of videos with big view counts, then it's a popular niche. You can also do some searching on CPM rates or cost per meal, which is just fancy talk for how much it costs or pays per 1,000 views. Higher rates for a niche means that it's more profitable, which is probably the most important if you're trying to, make money at this. Now, let's talk about your first few videos on your channel, or your next few if you've already started. These are crucial because they're going to set the tone for your channel and give your viewers a reason to subscribe. Don't worry about getting everything perfect right away. Just start creating. Focus on, producing content that showcases what your channel is all about. So this might mean experimenting with different formats or topics to just see what connects with your audience. One thing to keep in mind, your first video should clearly communicate what viewers can expect from your content. Why should they keep coming back? While you do want to experiment with different formats like, tutorials and talking head explainers and vlogs and, behind the scenes videos and so on, you do not want to experiment with your topic. Be as focused as possible. If you're a woodworking channel, every video needs to be about woodworking. If you're a comedy channel, make comedy videos only. Don't post serious woodworking videos to your comedy channel. As long as you're sticking to your niche, this is your chance to test the waters with different subtopics and styles of presentation. You can see how your viewers react and respond, and then, be ready to switch it up if you need to. You might find that what you thought was a strong idea just doesn't land, and that's okay. The goal here is to learn and improve, not to create viral hits from day one. Besides, if you had a viral hit right at the beginning, you wouldn't know how to follow it up. And then you'd be sad. And don't forget to pay attention to the basics. Good lighting, clear audio, and, a clean, simple background can make a big difference in how your videos are perceived. They don't have to be fancy and look like a studio like this, but, it does matter. And these small details show that you're taking your channel seriously, and I think that professionalism will help build trust with your audience. And another thing, your video could just be absolute genius, but if your title and thumbnail don't catch people's attention, no one's gonna click on it. You need to make your titles, really catchy and intriguing, and your thumbnails, they've gotta be eye-catching too, because let's face it, first impressions matter a lot on YouTube. Think about your own experience scrolling through YouTube. What makes you stop and click on a video? It's usually a combination of an interesting title that, it tells you what's going on, it promises you some sort of, payoff, and a thumbnail that grabbed your attention. So your title really needs to communicate to the viewer what they're gonna get out of it. And you can kind of spice up the titles, for example. It shouldn't just be, how to edit videos, if that's the name of your video. You instead, you could try something a little bit more interesting, like 5 editing tricks to make your videos look professional. And your thumbnail is the first and possibly the last time someone will think about your video. Whatever you do, don't just grab a screenshot from your video. Don't just let YouTube pick, a still from the video. Thumbnails are really, really important. It's got to be clear. It's got to have, strong, easy to understand images, high contrast. You've literally got milliseconds to grab someone's attention. Anything too hard to understand is just going to be ignored. And you can use apps like Canva or Photoshop to make thumbnails, and there are plenty of resources about thumbnails on YouTube. By the way, you should probably have some text on your thumbnail. I just did a quick survey of the YouTube homepage, and 80% of the thumbnails have some sort of text on them, but keep it simple, under 5 words. And here's a pro tip. Faces and thumbnails tend to perform better because they create a personal connection with the viewer. So, if it fits your style, don't be afraid to put your face on your thumbnail. Now, your title and your thumbnail, they've got to match the content of your video. Nothing turns off potential viewers faster than a clickbait title that doesn't deliver. So be honest, be clear, and always think about what will make someone choose your video over the hundreds of others on the same topic. Once they do click, you've got just a few seconds to keep them watching. No stress, but that's where your hook comes in. So start with something that grabs their attention immediately, either a bold statement or an interesting question or a surprising fact. You need to give your viewers a reason to stick around and see what comes next. For instance, if your video is about photography tips, you might start with a really stunning photo and a question like, "Want to know the secret behind this shot?" That hooks the viewer immediately because they see something beautiful and they want to know how to make something like that for themselves, and you're going to tell them how to do it. They're hooked. And you got to keep the energy up throughout the entire video by using techniques like, storytelling or open loops. And I'll tell you, an open loop, well, let me give you an example. You might say something in a video like, "I'll explain this in just a second, but first, let me show you something important." So what you're doing is you're kind of leaving a question in the viewer's mind and then pausing or delivering other content before resolving that question with an answer. That's called opening a loop. And getting subscribers is really important. So don't just hope people will subscribe, ask them to. And it might feel awkward at first, but asking can make a big difference. Something like, if you want to see more great content like this, make sure to become a subscriber. It can go a long way. And where should you put this reminder to subscribe? Whatever you do, don't put it at the beginning of the video. The viewer doesn't even know if it's worthwhile yet. But also, don't put it at the end. Most videos lose more than half of their viewers by the end, so put it somewhere in the middle for best results. Speaking of asking to subscribe in the middle of a video, if you'd like to see more content like this, please become a subscriber. You don't have to, of course, but I'll make it worth your while. And don't just stop there. You can encourage your viewers to interact with your channel and with your videos in other ways too, like ask them questions in the video, invite them to, answer those questions in the comment, or even ask them to, click the big old thumbs up. For example, if you're making a tutorial video, you could say, what's the biggest challenge you face with this skill? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to help. And this kind of interaction makes viewers, they feel seen and heard, and they feel valuable, and this increases their likelihood of subscribing. And when viewers do comment, make sure you respond. I mean, this shows that you care about them and that you want to interact with them. Okay, but a warning, don't ask the viewer to do all of these things in a single video. There's nothing worse than someone who says, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below and click that notification bell. That's just too much for the viewer, and it overwhelms them, and it just makes them want to puke. So just pick one request per video. That's it.
Hey, if you've got some topics related to, channel growth that you'd like me to talk about in the future, let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching.